Attention shoppers, the new Atari cartridge game is in.
Excuse me. Uh-oh.
You know, the Atari 2600 always holds a special place for me. Not only because it was the first game console I ever got, but it was one of the first things that I ever actually played with my dad. My dad never played the NES with me. He played games with me on the 2600. Later on, he didn't have as much time to play games with me back then. And I was little. I was still in elementary school at that time. It was in 1978. Now, growing up, my parents would let me open my presents early because we always went to my grandparents' place or my aunt's place for Christmas. And this box wasn't wrapped. They pulled it out of hiding and they let me see it, and they said, "This is my Christmas present." And it was the only big Christmas present I got because these things were expensive back then. And later on, when we came back, me and my dad and my friends would play it on an old black and white TV, an old portable black and white TV, because back then we still had black and white television with the bunny ears and everything, and the antenna that connected with plugs in the back that used screws to connect it. And later on, I finally got a color TV for my room for it. But yeah, this was back before there was an internet. This was back even before there were gaming magazines. I mean, there weren't even any magazines dedicated to video games back then. In fact, the only video games in the home that even existed were these machines that had built-in games that were variations on Pong. Now, the Atari 2600 was not the first system with cartridges. That distinction goes to the Magnavox Odyssey. Now, it didn't do very well because there was a lot of confusion back then. This was during the 70s. There was a lot of confusion back then of whether or not it actually worked on televisions that weren't from Magnavox. That's what prevented the Magnavox Odyssey from becoming very popular. It was also very, very primitive. Extremely primitive. It was based on the technology derived from the original game of ping pong that Nolan Bushnell's Pong was based on. And it had the similar controls to the original, which Bushnell would simplify for Pong. Then later there was the Fairchild Channel F. It also had game cartridges. Now, what made those two different from the Atari 2600 is that the 2600 actually had a microprocessor. The other two, now remember I said there were those game systems with built-in games? What the Magnavox Odyssey and the Fairchild Channel F did is essentially move those discrete circuit games, made in discrete circuitry. They moved those from the main board to individual cartridges. That's all they did. That's basically all they did. The 2600 was capable of much more sophisticated games because it actually had a microprocessor, and there were other supportive chips that could be included in the cartridges themselves. Now, the 2600 microprocessor was the MOS Technologies 6507. That was a stripped down version of the MOS 6502, which Atari used in almost all of their arcade games during the 80s. And it had only 128 bytes of RAM. 128 bytes of RAM. Think about that. And it was very limited in its graphics, as you're going to see today, and as you're going to see throughout this series as we go through the various games that were out by Atari specifically. These are games that are in the Atari Vault collection that you can find on Steam. These are only Atari games. These are only games made by Atari. You won't see anything from Activision, so you won't see Pitfall. You won't see Pitfall 2. If you see Pitfall 2, you'll see that when I get to the Commodore 64 games. But the 2600 had one pack-in game. That was back when game systems did come with games. And that game was Combat. And it had various game modes, and you're going to see those today. So let's get on with Tygra Kahn, and let's check out Combat and its sequel that I had never heard of before, Combat 2. Combat was the pack-in game of the Atari 2600. When you had yours, did yours come with it?
We never got it new, but we had like 2 or 3 of them, so they must have. I think we had like 2 or 3 of these, a couple of Combat 2s, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, and
but
there's like
they were pretty plentiful.
Multiple game modes. We're not going to look at all of them. We're going to look at
some of these have a lot.
Yeah, some of these have a lot. There's Tank Pong, Invisible Tank Pong, Biplanes, and Jets. So yeah, there's a lot here. I think we'll do Tank, and then Tank Pong, and then Biplanes and Jets.
Okay.
So when we did some testing with this, we found that the multiplayer on this is a little flaky.
Yeah.
That's needless to say. They really need to work on this.
The most disconcerting part, and you'll probably see it here in a little bit, is when the match is done, instead of just ending it, it pulls out of the game entirely, which is a little disconcerting because it looks like you just got dropped. You'll see it here in a minute.
Okay, so
see if this starts straight away or if we have to reconnect. Couldn't join games doing that again. It's flaky. There it goes.
Weird how that works. Alright, Tank. We'll do maze. Guided or short or straight?
On the hard maze?
Yeah.
Guided might be interesting on this. We didn't do that a while ago, so
okay. And
getting around.
Give us all these settings would normally be set with little levers on the
Yeah, there were levers on the top of the console
system. Okay, long shots or short?
Let's do long for now.
Okay.
Let's see if we can guided them. Let's see if we can do our little guided thingies around the corners.
And then there was a switch for black and white and color.
Because back in the day, black and white TVs were very common.
Yes, there were. Alright, so we're going to do this on the hard maze. They called it the hard maze. It's not really hard. But,
well, compared to easy and simple, it is.
Oh, yeah. Alright, begin.
Let's see how it'll work. Oh yeah, that'll work. That'll make it more interesting. Ooh, that was close.
Oh, that was close.
I can't get the angle on it. Hey! And then this will occasionally happen. Ah, do you remember the days?
Oh, yeah.
God!
Alright.
Hey! No! Oh, if you hit
Revenge!
Yeah, you
Revenge is a dish best served with red pickles. Alright. No more Mr. Nice pixelated tank.
Oh, I tried to get... Oh! Tell me you saw that. Oh! Okay, I didn't miss that. Ooh, that was good.
Alright.
That was good. That's some advanced play right there. That was some advanced play right there. I was making the thing go around all the different obstacles, getting you from the far side and everything.
Oh, yes.
Rank up, rank up.
Me and my friends used to play the crap out of this. We used to play the crap out of this game.
Oh, we did too. Well, actually, I think it might have been, for me, it's Combat 2. Boy, I love that one. If that's the one I think it is, that's the one I really like.
Yeah, I looked at that. We're going to be playing that here in a little bit. Let's go back into combat. We'll take a look at. Okay, I have to stay on this screen.
Okay.
Right. I'm gonna do a little bit of tank pong.
This would be interesting. Kill with any shot. What are the other options there? It says kill with any shot.
Bounce shot.
Ooh, any
bounce
shot or bounce shot.
Ooh. Now that would make it challenging.
That would be a challenge.
Bounce.
You have to
Okay.
bounce it to hit him.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
that'd be interesting.
This would work.
Okay, do this. Do this.
Alright.
Let's try this. Oh!
Oh! Oh! Oh! Oh, yes, yes. Oh!
Oh! Ow!
Now, going through the walls, I don't recall that happening.
It's incoming!
Ow!
Because you can't shoot another shot until your existing shot's finished. There is no way to aim. There's no good way to aim this. It's just luck. Any shot can strike. It's just luck.
Oh!
I'm not moving. Believe it or not, a better shot might be. Ooh. Oh! Ooh.
Oh! Oh. Dang it!
Because I don't think a straight-on shot. Let's see.
Oh. Yes. Oh, you know what? I think the games are timed. Look at her.
Oh
sword.
yeah,
It's
that's blinking. Oh, I was about about to get you because I was gonna hit. It's gonna go. That was incoming right there.
Oh.
Yeah, they're timed. Does it
Yeah.
say anything about timed? I don't remember them being timed. I thought they were scored.
I think the original may have been timed, or they
Was it?
start blinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show you your score unless you're already been paying attention. You don't know. You get that last whack and you don't know. See, that's what I'm talking about. Is they should have left it there on screen longer so you can see that at least what your result was before it just pulls it away.
Now, the Invisible Tank and Invisible Tank Pong are the exact same game modes, except the tank's invisible until you shoot.
Do invisible.
And take a hit.
Do one of the
tank?
invisible tanks, yeah.
Okay, I'll do the easy maze. All right, let me back out. Go back to multiplayer.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till you. Tell me when you're ready.
Ready. Alright,
That works.
We'll do. We'll do Invisible Tank. Easy. And we don't have
Definitely
an option
long
for
shots.
Guided shots.
They're only guided.
They're only guided.
They're only guided. But leave it on long. That way we're not spending all afternoon trying to find each other.
Yes. Alright, here we go.
Whoa, I'm invisible too. Well, I thought it was just gonna. Oh, that's because it. Ooh!
Ah.
Oh!
Gotcha. Right to the wall. Ah. Thing is, when you're two-player on the machine, you're not on two individual screens. You didn't have online multiplayer back then.
Yeah.
You had multiplayer right in the living room.
Yeah, because that was the only way to do it back then, because there were no online options.
Yeah.
The effectiveness is limited because you can't see yourself either.
Ah. All right.
I'm just being mean now. I didn't think that made contact.
Oh, I gotcha.
I should have had that. See, you can't see it behind the thing. I can only see part of the numbers.
Oh.
And it just closes. Yeah.
Okay, the last two are biplanes and jets. Those were fun.
They were pretty much, I think they're pretty much identical, aren't they, for the most part?
Pretty much identical for the most part.
I think the more differences in the interesting modes is I think there's like 1 plane, 3 planes, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much, and I think there's clouds too, if I recall.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
You could be
posting.
obscured.
Okay, there's biplanes. There's clouds.
Clouds,
yes or no?
yes, definitely yes.
Okay.
Shots, guided. Type 1. Okay, that's the type. Okay, long and fast.
Guided and straight. Wait, guided or straight?
Let's do straight, because that makes it more challenging.
Okay.
Especially with these, because you're always in motion. I think.
Yes. Okay, and that's 1 versus 1. Not.
I think that might be. I think that's different depending on if the other ones are set.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're good. Pop it. Who am I?
Looks like I am. Oh. Push up to go faster. Oh. All right. Looks like you're the green.
Yeah, I think I'm the green.
Oh, you got me. This was our battlefield.
Elite.
Oh.
Ooh, that looked.
All right.
Remember, I've been doing Elite Dangerous, so gotta stay on their tail. It's all that Elite Dangerous practice. Ooh, that one should have made contact.
Gotcha.
Ah, I should have made.
Ah.
Oh! It's weird because pitching back is up, so it's kind of weird for me.
Oh. Ah, tied. Oh.
Tiebreaker!
Combo breaker.
Ooh!
Ah. Oh, I haven't played these in a long time.
I haven't seen this game in ages.
Alright, last one is the
The
jet.
Jets.
Yeah.
And there's different ones. Like I said, we can try the different mode on the Jets too, because I think there's like a squadron or something.
Yeah, posting again.
Oops, wrong one. Okay, so biplanes,
Jets.
jets.
Oh, this one lets us select 2-on-2.
Okay, yeah, this one has the 2 via 2. Okay, so there's 2 jets per one.
Guided or not.
Let's do guided this time. A little
Okay.
different.
Clouds, yes.
Yes, and then shots would be short. Sort of like missiles instead of, yeah, short, slow.
Okay. Here we go.
Sort of like shooting missiles. This loads of joy. Disconcerting when they wrap around.
Gotcha.
Crap. Let's go up. Ouch. I can't see myself having to. Oh.
Hard to. Sometimes it's a little hard to see the little dots because of the weird pastel colors that this uses.
Mm-hmm.
This game was not made for a flat panel.
No. It was made for the old CRT televisions.
Oh. Ah. Thing is, with these old games, you could get stuck in that. where somebody just hammering you, hammering, and hammering.
Yeah. If you got it wrong, it was just like...
They were unforgiving.
Yeah.
And my friends were real jerks, so they would just sit there and go bam, 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 bam. They get you in a corner and they'll just blast, 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 blast.
I think I learned how to fly this finally. Like a sort of balance. Ow! Gotcha! There we go! Leveled! It took me a few minutes to figure out how to fly it because the controls were slightly different than the other one.
Alright, now you mentioned Combat 2. So
Yeah.
That's what we're going to tackle next. I played a little bit of... I messed around with this a little bit. I never played Combat 2 before.
It's basically the same, but there's some differences.
Combat 2. Alright, so...
Okay, obstacles, let's see. Yeah, go back to obstacles, let's see. Brick walls, keep going.
Trees and brick walls.
That's all there is?
Yep.
Go back to trees, let's start there. Now, placement.
Random and by player.
Let's do random.
Okay.
Guess that's all there is.
I think what they
Go down.
tried to do with this is that they tried to... Okay. I think what they tried to do with this is they tried to mimic the combat style game that was on the Intellivision.
Yeah, you know what? I maybe not sure I played this one. Start it. I don't remember this now. Okay, this is different than what I remember. This is different than the combat I remember. Where am I?
Okay, you are the yellow tank.
Okay, they move differently. They're not continuous move. Oh, not instant kill.
Yeah.
Oh, come on! Double KO! Double KO!
Go in the water. I guess you can. It's slower. Oh! So there's a little bomb system. I'm not sure what that does.
I don't know if there's a way to...
And you can back up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you can... Oh, well, that's what you gotta do, though. So you can hide in the trees.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a little more strategy.
You regain Cocoa Brew time.
Oh, I can shoot your trees down.
What did I?
Oh!
Alright, last life.
Alright, you're really hard to see. Oh, this is not the one I remember though.
Yeah.
There was a different combat game.
And that was Combat and Combat 2. As you can see, Combat 2 tried to be a little more sophisticated than the original Combat, but it lacked a lot of the game modes, a lot of the different variations on the tank modes, and the biplanes, and the jet combat games. And it tried to be a little more like the tank game that came with the Intellivision, I think. That's what they were trying to mimic. Now, I'd never seen Combat 2 before. I never played it. This was the very first time I've ever really played the game. And like a lot of games for the Atari 2600, they were multiplayer only. So you'll be seeing Tygra Kahn on the show again in the future for various multiplayer games. Next time we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite games for the Atari 2600, and that was Crystal Castles. Now, we covered Crystal Castles on the Atari Arcade series. That was the arcade version of the game. Now we're going to look at the Atari 2600 version, and this one was my favorite growing up. I never owned it. My friends always had it, but I always asked them to bring it over whenever they came over to my house because I always liked playing it. So we're going to be looking at Crystal Castles. It's a single player game for the Atari 2600. See you next time.